Small Business Focus brought to you by Nedbank. Make taking your business to the next level happen. Make things happen. Nedbank. In studio with me this evening, John Baladakis, who, in addition to having a whole bunch of Pick and Pay franchises, is also the chairman of the Franchise Association of South Africa. We're talking franchising this evening. Anything you ever wanted to know about franchising but were too afraid to ask, you give us a call this evening on 021-446-0567, 011-883-0702. Absolutely anything. Let's see how well he knows the 627 franchise opportunities available in South Africa. It's astonishing that there's that many, John.
Yeah, there's basically at last count, because FASA sort of keeps track of it, the 627 and about 30,050 franchise outlets.
30,050.
Yep.
Because that's about 30,000. Franchise outlets in South Africa. And it goes, I mean, the moment we think about franchising, we think of fast food, because that's the most in-your-face franchise opportunity, but there are locksmiths and postnets and pick and pays and virtually anything can be franchised ultimately.
Sure. Even there's some decent stuff happening in the building industry, tool hire, stuff like that.
Okay, so there's good stuff happening in the franchise sector. Are you in the franchise market? Do you want to be a franchisee? Have you got an idea that you would like to franchise? Are you a franchisor and you want to pick the brain this evening of John Baladakis, the chairman of the Franchise Association? You give us a call this evening on 021-446-0567, 011-883-0702. Get your calls in nice and early, and we will get through as many as we can this evening. You are a Pick and Pay franchisee. You've been a Pick and Pay franchisee since Raymond Ackerman was 12.
It's about 20 years now.
Yeah, it's a long time, eh?
Sure, we just celebrated the first store we opened 20 years ago. I think it was the 29th of March.
Where was that?
That was in Kempton Park.
Okay.
The store's called Kempton Gate. And it's an amazing journey. Really, it went so fast. I mean, you look back and you think, 20 years, what happened?
Because you used to have the Pick and Pay store at Village Walk before Village Walk got bulldozed.
Correct.
And I suppose you had to be bought out of the lease there, and there is no Pick and Pay store in the immediate Sandton area where we are right now, because yours was effectively shut down.
Look, there's the two Morningside stores and Benmore, I suppose.
But there's quite a high density in that retail space, isn't there? Everyone's competing for space. You guys versus Spar versus Woolies. Woolies hasn't got a franchise arrangement anymore, but they're there, ShopRite with its Checkers brands and Blue Save brands in other areas. And then you've got Kevin Hedderwick thinking that he can play retail, looking to take the supermarket concept that is Thrups, highly specialized, onto forecourts. The forecourts must be making your life an absolute nightmare as well, because that's the ultimate in convenience shopping.
Well, from a Pick and Pay perspective, we've teamed up with the BP brand, and from my personal experience, it's quite a good combination. We've just opened one recently. We actually opened one in December, and it actually works very well. From that space, as a retailer, you don't want to let everyone come in and eat your lunch. So you got to be as sharp as the rest of the market, and I think we're doing well there.
But are we reaching some kind of saturation point in terms of servicing households, South African households, in terms of retail outlets?
I think they said that 20 years ago. They said that 15 years ago. They said that 10 years ago.
That's why I'm asking the question now. Is it different?
I think it's getting tougher. Yeah. Without a doubt, it's getting more difficult to make a buck out there.
Yeah.
But I do think there is space in certain areas which is untapped, and the retailers are definitely looking at opening in there. I mean, we know what's happening in the market. So if you look at the list of things that are going forward, expansion within the retail industry, there's stores opening all over the place.
You're a franchisee. You understand the trials and tribulations, the difficulties of being a franchisee. You know that the market is tough. How many stores are you operating?
Currently, we're operating 7 Pick and Pay supermarkets.
Currently, which implies there's room for more.
We just opened the BP. Yeah. The BP Pick and Pay Express combination. But
that's serious. I mean, that is a very serious.
No, it's a big business.
I was going to say, it's not even a small business.
The beauty of franchising is that multiple franchising is possible, and people think that franchising is one little store somewhere in a shopping center. It's not actually the truth. Because there's a lot of brands out there that are very, very pro multiple franchising, and they're actually looking for their current franchisees to expand their brand.
Well, I mean, Kevin Hedwig would love the guy who has the Sears franchise to have the Something Fishy and the Debonair's franchise all in a row.
Absolutely.
That's ideal. One truck delivers all the stuff from the factory, and one person gets the benefit of that. Angela in Santon, you want to talk about the National Empowerment Fund and franchising. Hello.
Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Very good. Give me your perspective.
I'm fine, thanks. Bruce, I'm a black female lady, and I just read about the NEF, an Indian partnership to fund previously disadvantaged people or black people. So I want to go into that industry. So I just wanted to find out if it's worth going into, and what should I know about the whole petrol.
Okay, so this is basically to open up a petrol station, an NGen branded petrol station. The National Empowerment Fund's prepared to provide assistance, financial assistance, to people like yourself who can get into it. One thing I can guarantee you is you get one rand and 5 cents a litre for nothing, just for opening your doors. But obviously it's more complicated than that. Angela, thank you. One looks at the potential money-making machine that is a fuel station, and it's got to be tempting.
Sure, and I hope the listener looks at BP. Angela, I hope Angela looks at BP.
But NGen and the NEF have partnered on this particular one to give opportunities to people like Angela. Is fuel franchising a good franchise opportunity?
Look, it depends on the station. I mean, it's a very good franchise opportunity provided you're pumping the litres. Because that's what it's all about. And then obviously the quick shops or the express shops are actually contributing a little more to the profitability of that station. But as far as the NEF is concerned, they've got a great model. They've partnered up with a couple of the fuel industry leaders. And there's an enterprise development fund available where basically they can give you funding at about I think last we checked with the NEF was about somewhere between 7 and 8%.
Sure.
Which is a lot cheaper than...
That's cheap money, yeah.
So there is a good funding model with the NEF, and absolutely it's a way to go.
The thing that scared me about what Angela said was, I'm thinking about doing this. What do I need to know about petrol? It's like, okay, whoa, hold on a second. I mean, people also make the terrible assumption when going into franchises that the business plan arrives, that the rule book arrives. You start on page 1, about the time you get to page 100, you know exactly what to do, and the money just walks through the door. Franchising provides you with help you might not otherwise have got had you gone off on your own, but it doesn't do the work for you, does it?
No. And I always say, when people ask me, is live the life of a franchisee. Go make a point to live a life of that franchisee in that business that you want to open for at least 3, 4, 5, 6 days before making that decision. Because ultimately you want to make sure that what you've chosen to do is something that you're going to enjoy doing. You've got to be passionate about what you're going to do. If you're passionate about what you're doing, then it doesn't matter how hard the work gets. Then you're going to be able to do it. If you're not so excited about what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to do the best that you can. And franchising and owning your own business is about how well you can perform.
I mean, your Pick and Pay stores probably are different from each other, your franchise stores, and they're different from the corporate stores. There's a personal imprint that each one of those stores makes, and it's up to you and maybe the store manager to make decisions as to how you differentiate those outlets in different parts of Kempton Park, for example.
Sure. So each franchise, as far as supermarkets are concerned, it has got its own niche, because you've got a niche to the market that you're catering for. So you must make sure that what your customers are around the area that you're servicing basically can find what they're looking for in the store. So you've got to take that store and make sure that store is actually a store which services the market. So we've recently opened a store out in the East Rand, and we always say that we've taken the store and East Randized it.
What does that mean?
Well, we've got a huge Voltron section. We sell hundreds of types of boerewors, you know. Okay. So it's a question of
serving your market.
Absolutely.
Joan in Boksburg. Hello, Joan. You want to talk social franchising? Hello.
Sorry, I can hardly hear you. I'm driving in the car. But I just want to find out, what is your understanding of social franchising?
Okay, so NGOs, for example, non-government organizations. Thank you, Joan in Boksburg. Noisy line. I'll give John just a moment or two to think about. John Baladakis, Chairman of the Franchise Association. FASA, they're having a big shindig next week. We'll chat about that as well, coming up in just a moment. But, Joan, social franchising, NGOs, is there a market for that?
Remember that moment you wanted to give up? When you...
The Money Show brought to you by Old Mutual. Do great things. Social franchising. John Baladakis, the Chairman of the Franchising Association of South Africa. What sort of thing are we talking about when it comes to social franchising?
Great question. So it's basically social franchising is when you use the franchising model to basically help develop social responsibility models within the communities. So it basically means that you take a business approach with a franchising sort of hybrid model.
So you run an NGO, a non-governmental organization, whether it be caring for animals in poor areas or, I don't know, running orphanages or whatever the case is. You could essentially, if you've got a great model for running the best orphanage, you could really franchise that for non-commercial purposes, but to do good in other areas.
Correct. So you basically take the franchise thought process. We'll produce a manual. We'll have these points which our area manager will check on every time he visits that specific franchise. So it's really plugging social responsibility and making it a type of franchise into the franchise modeling. Is
it something that's got sort of government attention at all?
Yes,
you would love the state to support that kind of thing.
Yeah, so there are some governmental organizations. I don't know the exact details, but I know within the healthcare industry there's quite a bit of interest. There is something happening along the sports line as well, basically, government is very interested in social franchising, and a lot of NGOs are looking at social franchising as a way forward.
Thanks, John. I would never have thought about it. Thank you for a great question. Irfan in Bayview, you want to go to a restaurant. Save yourself, Irfan. Don't do it.
Hi, Bruce. Thanks for taking my call. I just got a quick question. I'm an educator over 20 years, and I'm looking at some early retirement, and I live in an area called Bayview, and people need to drive quite a distance to get to a popular takeout store, and I think it was one American guy, and he has a white beard, and
KFC, right? Yes, KFC. Let's get to the point. Yes, okay, you want to get KFC?
I want to know. I've looked into trying to open up one of those. Trying to get into a franchisee in the area, but all the doors just get closed, and in doing closer investigation, there's only about 20 people who own franchises throughout South Africa. How does one get into a franchise where doors get closed other than open?
Irfan, thank you. I've heard that criticism of KFC, particularly where they've got a kernel, Kernel, of franchisees that they know and they trust. They work together well, and one person may have 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 in a particular area. Irfan would like to break into the crunchy chicken business.
The beauty of franchising is that you get these hybrid models. So there are certain franchisors out there that will believe that they only want one franchisee per specific outlet. Yeah. And then you get the KFC, the Yums of the world, which basically are saying, look, we want to deal with one franchisee which will have a multiple store in a specific demarcated area. Unfortunately, if that is some of the franchisors
it is the way the Yum brands operate, isn't it?
It is. So they've had a very, very successful model. It's very difficult to break the mold.
So for Irfan, he's got to look at something else. I mean, rather than try and get them to reinvent their business model, perhaps go for a competitor and see whether or not you can make them regret not offering you the franchise opportunity.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're not the only fried chicken outlet out there.
But they're the one that everybody wants. I mean, they're probably the most expensive fast food option in South Africa in terms of buying into a franchise.
Yeah.
Burger King's pretty pricey as well. I think 4 million startup. KFC's probably more expensive than that.
Yeah, it's a little more. But the important thing is that, and what I want to say is, look for the opportunity. Sometimes, the opportunity will bring the business you're looking for. So maybe KFC haven't found a site in the area. And you can be the next five store franchisee. The point is, don't stop. If you believe in yourself, you'll find the way.
Quick one from you, Ben, in Olivedale. It's the other side. You want to become a franchisor, potentially. You want to sell franchises to other people, Ben?
Hi, Bruce. Yes, we own a tutoring company. There's tutor children at their home and stuff. But we basically based in Randers at the moment and expanding to your northern Joburg suburbs. But we've had questions for Cape Town and Durban. Is it better to start a franchise or is it better just to start branches in different provinces?
Wonderful, Ben, in Olivedale. Thank you very much. Talk to the chairman of the Franchise Association. Surprised me. I mean, basically he was saying he's got a concept. He wants to grow the concept. Is it better for him to go and start branches or should he be franchising from an early stage?
Really, the only person that can answer the question is you. If you feel opening another branch will allow you to get to your customers and you've got the manpower and the capital to basically do it, and you're happy that your customers will be serviced well by that branch and by a store manager, that's fine. If you don't, and if you feel that a franchisee would do a better job, if someone who's got a vested interest in that business from an ownership point of view will do a better job.
April 16th, Santa Convention Centre, the annual Franchise Association, Razzmatazz and Hoopla, all about franchise industry. What are you hoping to achieve?
Really what we want to do is we want to have people interact better with the governmental organizations. SEFA is going to be there.
SEFA is
the Small Enterprises Funding Agency. We know that the NEF will also be there, so there's a good chance for people to talk to both those funders. Obviously, there's our main sponsor there, which is, if I may, Absa Bank, who sponsors the whole IFE, and you can have a chat with their guys from the franchise.
One of the toughest things in franchising is startup capital. I spoke to a guy today who's got a clever idea he'll share with us in a couple of months' time in terms of filling the gaps for many startup franchisees, because there are very few black franchisees in South Africa, and every franchise owner wants black franchisees to expand into new markets. But guys are struggling to get the capital, and that's got to be one of the biggest drawbacks, I suppose, right now.
Yes, but there are agencies out there. SEFA's got a very nice model, and FASA's trying to put together as many of those funding models in association with the governmental agencies, so that we can actually give those people who don't have the startup capital those opportunities. So we're busy with the job funds, SEFA, DTI, NEF, etc.
Here we go. John Baladakis, thanks very much for coming in. He's chairman of the Franchise Association of South Africa. In life, you've got two choices. You can sit by and watch the world change, or you can help change the world to a better place for the next generation. At Old Mutual, they've made a commitment to invest in projects that deliver good returns while ensuring a sustainable future for the continent. They invest in projects that will better the lives of more than 500,000 school children, projects that will encourage entrepreneurship and create a culture of financial self-dependence, projects that will help save the planet. When you invest with Old Mutual, you're not only investing in your own future, you partner in creating a better South Africa. Old Mutual, do great things. Old Mutual is a licensed financial services provider.